Resentment can kill you. It increases your risk of heart disease and ulcers and stroke. And resentment will also kill your relationship in the form of separation and divorce. Not only that, but it feels rotten, both for you and your partner. If we slowly but surely let frustration overtake us every single time our partner does something that is annoying, they forget to do things they promised us to do, they hurt our feelings, then anything positive about your relationship is blurred out by all those negative thoughts. And I know that you don't want that to be happening, but you can feel it, you know it's there, and that's why you clicked on this video. Today, I'm going to teach you the exact same trick that we teach all our couples here at our Philadelphia offices. Other mental health professionals might tell you that the cure to resentment is forgiveness or letting go. People who suffer from resentment are not people who are selfish. It's about people who are actually giving and giving and giving and forget to take care of themselves. So our solution here is much more pragmatic, and it's actually a communication skill instead of trying to feel something that you don't feel. So here's the 30-second cure that I've been promising you. The 3-step process is pause, ponder, and speak. Pause, ponder, and speak. By the way, my name is Laura. I am a couples therapist here in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. And we teach action-oriented advice that is research-based. And it's also the kind of advice that you can use on your own, whether or not your partner is watching this video. And by the way, if this looks familiar, that's because this is the same formula that I use with defensiveness. I use it with stonewalling. I use it with criticism, because the pause and the ponder is the same. So the only thing that changes is step 3, because you'll say something different according to whatever the problem is. Whenever you feel that ick factor of being so angry and tempted to make a really bad decision and say something that you're going to regret, that's that ick factor. That's when you need to pause. I know it's easier said than done, but all the research supports it. And it really is true that if you don't pause, there's no way you're going to be able to have a productive resolution, nor are you going to be able to get what you actually want. You've got to pause. And the pausing always takes a little bit longer than you think it should. There are only a couple of things that can't wait. And that's like blocked airways, splurting blood, the kind of blood that's like not just trickling, like splurting blood. Other than that, you really do have so much more time than you think you do. Okay, so pausing is the first step. This next part might be a little bit controversial, so hang in there with me and leave your thoughts below. If you simply pause and then try to convince yourself that it's not that big of a deal and try to just let go or forgive or evaporate that frustration, that is a surefire recipe for increased resentment. And this video isn't about adding resentment, it's about a cure for resentment. It's not just brushing under the carpet. So here's where the rubber meets the road. If you pause and do nothing, you might have a really nice evening together and feel like everything is fine. But that's that tiny little pebble in the shoe that's slowly and surely building up a callus. So once you're calm and ready to talk, then you enter the ponder phase, which is phase number 2. And that's where you really sit down and think about exactly what you're going to say and how you're going to say it before you speak. It's a good idea, right? To think before you speak. So here's the formula I'm going to teach you. The antidote to criticism, which is the gentle startup. It's John Gottman's gentle startup, which is I feel X about Y, and my need or request is Z. So you can watch that video and take a deep dive into exactly how to raise a difficult conversation after you're calm. And that's something that you can do during your ponder phase. So let me give you an example from my own life and my own marriage of how resentment can rear its head even in a super healthy relationship. I'm very grateful that at this point, my marriage is in a really, really good spot, but that wasn't always true. And Michael and I are getting more and more open about the fact that we really struggled when our kids were little. We both worked. Back then we flip-flopped who was watching the kids and who was at work. And I think we both agreed that it was easier to be at work. We wanted to be with the kids when we were at work because we felt like we were missing out of their primal years. And when we were at work, we wanted to be home. And whoever was home, we felt guilty. And so then we were always a little bit envious of each other. Like, I wish I was home with the kids right now. Why do I have to be at work? Or, oh, it's so much easier to be at work than at home because at least you can go to the bathroom without bringing a child carrier in there with you. So I'm not joking when I say I know firsthand, as well as a therapist working with other couples, I know firsthand what it means to be dealing with resentment. Okay. I felt like I was putting everyone else first. My kids were my whole world. Of course, I put my clients first, and that's never bothered me. It's always been my job. But the thing that I let slide was my own marriage. And I'm not talking about just not making enough time for date nights. I was really angry for a lot of that time. I used to get annoyed for the stupidest things. I literally remember looking out the window of my bedroom. I had a baby on my hip, and I looked out the window and I saw him talking on the phone. His car had pulled in. He was stopped in park talking on his phone, and I was livid. You would have thought that he had committed adultery or robbed a bank. I was that mad. Now, my guess is that depending on where you are in your own life, you're going to be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, Laura, I totally get it. Me too. Thanks for saying that. Or you're going to be thinking, what? Chill out. He was probably talking to his mom. The guy is allowed to be on the phone. Why are you being so controlling? Okay. And I see both sides because I have been there and I'm not there now. So in my case, I should have just walked away from the window, focused on my baby, and allowed my body and my thoughts to get grounded and to not say a single word to my husband until I caught my breath. Okay. I honestly didn't do that. I'll tell you in the comments what I actually said. You can write a guess of what you think I said, but I didn't follow this process because it's hard to do it. But if you do it 10% of the time, that's pretty good. When he finally came back, which felt like 2 hours, it was probably 5 minutes, literally. What I should have said was something to the effect of like, hi, welcome home, good to see you. And then to say something like, look, I feel really exhausted and depleted on the days that I'm home alone with the kids. And it would really help me if we had some kind of a routine about how we do the transition time when one of us is coming in and the other one needs to be tag teamed, because those are really tricky times for me. Can we talk about that sometime this weekend? So that would have been a way to name it right then and there so that I'm not lingering. It doesn't turn into resentment. Tell me in the comments if you have any ideas about how I could have done a better job, or if you can relate to feeling like you want to strangle somebody for doing something really normal. You can let me know. It's a safe space in our comment section. Okay, so that's the cure for resentment, but it doesn't always work. Sometimes even when you do everything right, your partner will get defensive and then you'll start to go back and forth, and that can escalate to a fight. And oftentimes when things escalate, one or both partners can shut down. So if that happens in your relationship, go ahead and check out this video, which is all about how to deal with stonewalling. Thanks for watching.